Last year I started a friendly neighborhood Christmas light competition, and things have quickly gotten out of control. My neighbors have actually brought in some pros to hang some lights for them, and I've gone a bit more of a DIY approach. Any free time I've had over the last couple weeks, I've been setting up lights and decorations in the yard while also putting a big dent in my wallet. And some people might ask, well, what's the prize for winning? And, well, there's not really a prize, but there's bragging rights, and for some people, that's most important. Things have gotten so crazy around here, even the local deer like to come by and check it out and see what's going on. I know I'm going to dread taking all this stuff down in a couple weeks, but fortunately the folks over at Lumary found out about my little light contest and hooked me up with some of their permanent outdoor Eaves Light Max, which means that while I'll still have to take the stuff down in the yard, at least I can leave the lights up on the house if I want to. So hopefully these are going to help push me over the edge. And I'm going to show you how I go about installing them in case you're curious and interested in maybe getting some permanent lights for yourself. Inside the box comes with everything that you need. You've got multiple sets of lights depending on the length. This set is 105 feet long. It comes with 80 bulbs, which can be turned into 16 million different color combinations, so your options are virtually limitless. They come with all the mounting hardware you're going to need, including some extra jumper wires, screws, and adhesive back mounting plates, as well as a power supply and a remote, which you can use for analog control, or you can download the app, which I'll show you later. Admittedly, it seems like a lot, but the install is actually surprisingly simple, so let's dive in. I've learned from past experience with Christmas lights that you always want to make sure to test them out first by plugging them in and make sure that you don't hang them and then find out they don't work, so I always like to do that first. And then next to figure out the direction in which I'm going to hang the lights, and my closest available power is over here in this corner. And eventually I'd like to put an actual plug up in the soffit, but for now, I'll run the wire down in the area of that gutter and work my way across the gable end to the other side. Naturally, I picked the coldest and windiest day in the last several weeks to do this, so my hands were virtually useless. But the nice thing is the lights come in sections with watertight connections, so if you need to stop after one section and come back to it later, which I did several times just to warm up, you can do that. Now you'll notice that on the back of each light there's this adhesive back strip. All you need to do is peel that off and stick it up in the area that you want your light to be, which is recommended to be 2 to 4 inches off of the wall, and then the light easily slides on that bracket. And then you slide the light off, and there's a little screw hole in the middle that you can permanently mount that little bracket in place. Once you mount the bracket, you slide the light back on, it snaps into place, and then you move on to the next one. Pull the wire tight, make sure that it's flat, peel the sticky off the back of the light, and stick it up in place, remove the light, leaving the bracket in place with the sticky back, install the screw, slide the light back on, and just continue that process indefinitely as you work your way across. Now, having done this, there's one tip that I would recommend, and that is to do this installation when the temperature is over 40 degrees. I found that the colder the temperature was, the less likely the adhesive backing would stick to the eaves. But I did another section later when it was much warmer, and it worked super easily. So install them when it's a little bit warmer and do yourself a favor. Your body will thank you and it will be easier. I know some people are going to say that they don't like being able to see the white wire, and if the eaves were white, it wouldn't be nearly as noticeable. I just happen to have kind of a forest green eaves, and when you stand back a bit, you can't actually see them. But there is a couple options that I could do if I wanted to. They're rated to stay up indefinitely, but I could remove them if I wanted to. I could take the lights down themselves and paint and leave the brackets in place so that I could just easily snap the lights back on. I could also use and paint a wire hide or just paint the wires themselves. So depending on your level of OCD, you have options. If you have areas where the wire's drooping and you want to hold them up, they have these little clips that you can install to hold the wire. And then if you need to change from one gable to the next or something like that, and you have a break where you don't want to have lights, you can just use one of these jumpers to connect the two. And then once you have your lights installed where you want them, the last thing to do is just get them plugged in and test them out.
I could see it from space.
They can see it from space. To control the lights, you can use the remote, which will cycle through a bunch of different programs, and then there's some solid light options, or you can download the app. Personally, I think the app is the way to go. Once you go through the basic setup stuff, it'll find the devices automatically. You can add them in, and then there's all sorts of different scenes that you can choose from. You can modify the scenes, and you can just create your own look however you like, which is what I ended up doing just to kind of give myself a Christmas look. They have some preset Christmas stuff. I wanted just kind of a green and red thing, so I just designed my own thing. You can change the direction of the lights. You can change which lights flash. You can change how they operate. You can virtually do anything, including set schedules for when they turn on and off. You can completely customize it however you like down to the individual bulb, which is really cool. Not only did Lumary hook me up with these permanent Eaves lights, but they also hooked me up with two 7.5-foot Christmas tree lights, which are also controllable through the app, and they're super easy to set up. It's just a matter of assembling the base, snapping together some poles, and then stretching the lights down to the base. And then once they're plugged in, you can control them as well through the app, and there's a ton of different settings that you can do. Once again, you can create your own, or they have a bunch of preset stuff, which is really cool looking. I personally like this kind of spirally looking thing. I think it looks really cool. So overall, I'm really happy with this product, and I think they take my Christmas lights setup to the absolute next level. You can synchronize these to music and all that stuff, but I'm not quite there yet, so maybe next year. But in the meantime, what do you think? You think I got a shot at winning this year or what? My neighbor's got some pretty great stuff as well, so we'll see how it goes. Hey, what do you think of the lights? Good, that's it?
Yeah.
It looks like I still got a little ways to go to impress my son. Hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.